Hey everyone, I'm Josh. I'm an engineer here with Prinsu and CBI, and today we're going to be doing a roof rack install on a first-gen Subaru Crosstrek. Alright, so the first step we're going to start off with is siliconing the spacers on the roof. I've already installed the plus nuts on this vehicle. For that, you can go ahead and look at our written instructions on our website. We'll have a PDF on how to install those, but I've already had to do that on this vehicle, so you have to look at the written instructions for that step. But to start with, we're just going to place a healthy amount of silicone here on the roof to make sure we get a watertight seal. Just go all the way around the plus nut. Make sure you fill it up nice. And then you'll go ahead and place the spacer on there. And what you're looking for is to make sure you've got a nice bead fully around the spacer. Alright, so as you can see, there's 5 spacers per side. It's a pretty easy process right there. Silicone does usually take about 12 to 24 hours to fully cure, so in that time frame, just be careful. Make sure you're not like taking it out in the rain or under a pressure washer or anything like that to make sure you're not getting any leaks before it's fully cured. The operating temperature on most silicones is, well within anything you'd ever run across. Just one thing to keep in mind though is you are going to want to do the install probably above 70 degrees. That just helps make sure that your cure time remains in that 12 to 24 hour window and doesn't take any longer. Alright, the next step is to install some mounting brackets. This is a little unique compared to our other setup. So we've got a 44-inch crossbar right here. This is going to go up front. We've got our 2 mounting brackets and our bolts to connect it. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is slide in 2 carriage bolts per side. They just slide right into the channels on our crossbars. And next you're going to grab your brackets. The 2 holes go down and the singular hole faces out. So you're going to place that down. Next comes your flat washers. And place one of those over each carriage bolt. And after that, you'll start tightening your nylon lock nut. So next thing we're going to do is fully tighten down the brackets. You're going to use a 7/16 inch wrench. The far end of the bracket is going to be 3.5 inches from the edge of the crossbar. So it looks like we're pretty well lined up right there, and I'm going to start tightening it down now. Alright, so I've got all the hardware lined up here already. Over here on this side we've got the mounting hardware for mounting the roof rack to the vehicle itself. The order is just bolt followed by a flat washer. Over on this side we've got our crossbar hardware. This mounts the crossbars and the side rails, just connects them together. The order on that is a flat washer followed by a split lock washer. And lastly, we've got the hardware for mounting the wind deflector. And that again is a flat washer followed by a split lock washer. So next we're going to place this up on the roof here. You're going to place it right over the first spacer. And you'll notice it's basically sitting level right now. If it's not sitting level, then you just got it flipped around, so you'll just want to switch it right around. Take our mounting bolts, start hand tightening it into the roof. And once you've got that going, you can take out your 7/16 inch wrench and tighten it down some more. And now we'll move on and do the same steps on the other side. Alright, so if you're doing the install by yourself, one thing that I like to do to make it easier is go ahead and lay the crossbars down on the roof before we put the side rails on. For this one, I've just put down some padding on the roof, make sure you don't put any scratches in it. One thing to keep note of when lining up your crossbars is the orientation of your drop points. So you can see we've got one with a bit of gap up in front. I just like to line them all up in the same orientation for looks. They don't have to be that way, but I just think it looks nice. Alright, so next we're going to hook up the side rail. What you can do with this is try and line it up on these spacers that you've already got down. And you're going to take your mounting hardware for the side rails and crossbars. Just go ahead and start it right on this first one here. For now, you can just hand tighten them, and you'll have 2 per crossbar. And after you've got those started, you can go ahead and move on back to your spacers and start hand tightening the mounting bolts for those. And you want to just leave these hand tight for now, and we'll give you a little wiggle room later on to make sure you've got everything lined up perfectly before you go ahead and fully tighten everything down. Alright, now that you've got your side rail bolted down up there, you can go ahead and lay out your crossbars to match up with the smaller slots. I took a guess at where to place them earlier. It looks like I was a little off, but that's no problem. One to take note of back here is the crossbar that is going to go in front of your radio antenna. On some models, there's a different antenna than we've got on this one, so what you can do here is you'll either use this slot or you can adjust it anywhere along this larger slot to make sure you're not interfering with your radio antenna. So for this one, it looks like we're going to be about in the rear of this large slot. So now that we've got all those in there, or lined up, I'm just going to go ahead and tighten them all up with the mounting hardware. It's a T30 Torx bolt, and so I've got my bit here. I'm just going to go ahead and line those up. And next I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process on the driver's side of the vehicle. To install the wind deflector, first thing you're going to do is slide the little threaded inserts into the channels just like before. I've already got them laid out here for you, but they just slide right in from the ends. And what you're going to want to do is set the crossbar down in front of your wind deflector, try and line up the edges, and then place your inserts and line with the holes. Alright, so after you've got everything lined up, you can go ahead and grab your wind deflector, set it on top of the crossbar, get your mounting hardware. This is going to be a standard Phillips head screwdriver. Go ahead and start those off. And I'll say fully tightening them down for the very last step again, just in case you've got to make any adjustments. And last thing I'm going to do on this wind deflector is put our noise reducing trim on. This is optional. I do highly recommend it. I put it on all the installs I do. It just gives you a better fit and finish and make sure you've got the quietest roof rack possible. To install it, you're just going to start working from one end. You just pop the channel over the edge. Just slowly work your way down. And there you have it. Alright, and last but not least, we're going to go back and finally finish fully tightening up all the mounting bolts. Just double check all your connections for your first drive, make sure everything's nice and tight and you get the full function out of your roof rack. Alright, and our install is complete now. Thanks for watching. If you got any more questions, you can always consult the written instructions that you can find on our website, PrinsuDesignStudio.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out.